Welcome to The Bank is Open, presented by Pickett Sports, props.cash, breaking down the NBA card tonight. Little Thursday night football. I think this is the last one. Boy, that's a depressing thought to think about. As bad as these games have been, we at least have football. So a little bit of a transition, but to break it all down, NicLarson, Matt Mcafee. Looks like Eli, the producer's here. What's going on, guys?
Going on, Will?
Not a lot. I almost went downtown to watch the Cavs and Pacers tonight, but seems like it's a popular ticket, and I'm not trying to catch a nosebleed and sit in the rafters tonight. So, uh, yeah. Well, hey, I reached out, try to get some last minute hookups and stuff, but looks like I'll be watching from the couch.
Why is that a popular ticket, you think?
I mean, Cavs can travel over here, Cavs fans,
Oh,
and
okay, that makes sense.
yeah, and then not only that, it's just kids aren't in school, so a
Right.
lot of people. We went bowling this afternoon, and you should have seen it, man. You thought bowling was last chance to bowl was today. Like you never get to bowl ever again. But yeah, I think just this, another week, people are trying to get out of the house,
Right.
cooped up in the holiday. So
Yeah,
Who's
this
your
is
hookup there?
yeah, nice,
Got to get Mitchell to get you on the pass list there. Mitchell or Garland, just give him
right.
a ring.
I there was some seats available behind the Cavs bench. It was like fourth row, and they're about 800 each, and I'm like. I don't know if I want to get that close. And like my son will be making me go get slushies, $18 slushies with cotton candy in them and stuff. I won't even get to watch the game. So I'm like, you know what? We'll hang out at the house tonight.
we got a handful of games, so we can get right to those, and then we'll go to the NFL, try to figure out who's playing, if anyone's playing for the Titans, who basically it's going to be like an exhibition game for them. So interesting game to break down, see if we find some value on these props. I guess we'll start here with the Hornets hosting the Thunder. We're up to 2.5 now, total 238. Nick, you want to start us off here? Anything for you, Hornets and Thunder?
Yeah, I actually do have a play for this game. Jalen Williams on OKC. His rebounds, I'm going to ladder those from 4.5. I think the best odds were DraftKings was minus 120 for 4.5, all the way up to 10 on FanDuel was plus 1100. He's coming off a game of 9 rebounds. Pretty active on the offensive glass as well. And the Hornets are one of the worst teams allowing rebounds, especially to the small forward position. So that's a play I'm going to sprinkle for sure tonight. I don't have anything on either side of this game. I do kind of like LaMelo. I don't know how I would do him in this situation here
Just
with
looking at them. Over threes, maybe?
maybe, yeah. I mean, he was cold last game, but before that he's been pretty consistent, so that's probably a good look.
Matt,
Yeah,
anything for you?
his volume will be there. This is an exciting one for me. Like it's an exciting one for props because I don't. Neither team likes to play defense. Both want to push the pace. We've got exciting SGA Lamelo kind of running these offenses. So I'll put together a same game parlay for this one. I just got to kind of dig in and wait to see lineups, make sure there's no surprises. But yeah, I think triple double alert for Lamelo tonight. I think he could definitely get it if he's so inclined, and we shall see. I mean, SGA probably gets his 30 tonight. His standard 30 points.
Yep.
And I think it could be a fun one. I think the over is probably a good look if you're just looking for like a side or a total. 238 is always kind of like a stretch, but I mean, I'm pretty sure this game will end up in the 120s.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Matt. And like you were saying, these two teams get up and down the floor a lot. They don't care about playing defense. They both have a couple really fun and really good and fun to watch point guards with Shea and Lamelo. I think Shea and Melo both get their 25 and 30 for sure. Um, Probably a couple teams are going to miss a lot of shots too. So there's probably a rebound play in there somewhere, like maybe a PJ Washington, maybe a Mayo Plumlee, as Brian would say, um, something in there. But yeah, a lot of points, no defense. So take whoever you want all points lines, and you'll probably have a good chance at it. But I don't have anything on this game officially.
All right. Anything else before we move on?
I think you can if you want to if you do the 10 on Williams, I think you can do double double on DraftKings, get you to like plus 2,200 instead of just the plus 1,100 for 10 rebounds. So if you're gonna go that route, you could take the double double as well.
I was told Oklahoma isn't any good, and Florida State was going to romp them here as we're watching the bowl game. What is this, the Cheez-It Bowl? And Oklahoma's up 10-3, and they're driving as they were 10.5-point favorites. Everyone seemed to like Florida State, so keep an eye on that. Hasn't been a great bowl season. Kansas, Arkansas yesterday was fun, but some of the games been a little bit of a rough watch. Anything else before we move on?
Nope.
The game you mentioned, Matkafee, you can start it. Cavs at the Pacers. Take it away. Anything you have in pocket, Cavs and Pacers.
Nothing in pocket, but yeah, this will be fun. It's another one where you've got like kind of a team that wants to play fast versus a team that wants to play slow, which we'll see how that plays out. At the Cavs' size, if they go with their height that they normally do, the Pacers could be in a little bit of trouble. I think on the inside, it could be a lot of one and dones. A short four. Cavs aren't great on the road, but I guess I'm inclined to take that. 225 total wise sounds about right. I do think the Pacers get a few extra possessions in this game here, just getting the Cavs sped up. But fun, a lot of good guard play in here. It'll be fun to watch. Halliburton and Garland going at it. Mitchell, of course, can always fill it up. Buddy Hield. Fun game. Fun game. I think this is another great one for a same game parlay. So I'm going to look at a couple different player props, but for the side, I think Cleveland will get it done.
No way, man. Pacers money line for sure. No. One thing I don't have it in yet, but one thing I'm probably going to be on is Miles Turner rebounds. He's had 2 games in the last 12 months, so going back to last season against Jared Allen. He's had over 10 rebounds in both of those. He's averaging almost 8 on the season, almost 8 in the last 5, and he has 11 versus Cleveland this year as well. So I'm going to definitely take his over 7.5, and I might go ahead and take either double double or 10 rebounds, whatever makes the most sense there. Tyrese Halliburton is only 18.5 points wise, and he's just ever since that reporter in New York, I don't remember his name, kind of dogged him a little bit. He's just been really looking for his shot. He had one down game against the Pelicans where everybody on the base had a down game, but 18.5 I think is too low of a number. So I'll be on Tyrese points as well. And yeah, I think that's probably going to be it for me. I like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley to get a bunch of rebounds too, though.
Yeah, I like Jared Allen rebounds in this game as well. Man, Mitchell did me dirty last game. I had him and KD ladder against each other, and KD went off, and Mitchell just decided not to score anymore. So maybe a bounce back game from him. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on Garland and Halliburton assists. If it's a game where both of them could go crazy,
it's tough because you normally if the game is played the way it normally does and nobody catches fire, that's the problem with the Cavs. It's like if Garland catches fire,
Garland had 45 that game. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then he just stops passing. Yep. And Mitchell turns into the facilitator, and it's vice versa. If Mitchell gets 8, 9, 10 points in the first quarter, Garland is going to finish with 16 points and 11 assists. So it's really, really hard. And it seems like the same thing now with a little bit of the ascension of some of these other young players around Halliburton. Like the assists get spread through this team. And yeah, it's a tough one. I think I'm inclined to say that Halliburton, and Garland can both chase that.
I think Matt might have froze.
Might have. We're not sure yet. He might just be really pausing for dramatic reasons to
keep us in suspense for what that number is going to be.
Now I really want to know what he said.
Yeah, I could jump in there on he was just going on 20 assists, for SGP Garland 20 assists, Halliburton 20 assists, and run it. No, so like I was saying just a second ago, Halliburton has really been looking for a shot since the what is that guy's name? You guys know the Knicks reporter. Whatever.
Knicks
Called him
reporter.
a wannabe. He called Halliburton a wannabe all star. And that was like the night they played the Knicks on the 18th, and coming into that, I think Halliburton was like averaging a double double, with a ton of assists. And so he had 14 the game before that Knicks game, 14 assists, 10 the night of the Knicks game, and since then he's gone 8, 7, 6, 7. So I think ever since those comments were made, he's really just been looking for a shot a little bit more than to distribute. So I would lean away from Halliburton assists and towards his points. But Garland, I think, definitely could get his. I think you'll see Nembhard probably on him, who's a really good defender, especially for a rookie. So I think he'll be forced to distribute a little bit more.
McAfee just texted that the Browns should have never traded for Watson. And he looks like he needs a massage. He looks a little tight. That's why Watson's struggling. So I think that's what he texted me. I'm not sure.
All right.
We can probably move on. Anything else, Nick, before we move on? It's probably the game of the night, the Clippers and the Celtics.
Yeah, nothing for me until
This is a good one. This is a fun one. The Clippers beat them up a couple weeks back in LA. So you figure the Celtics out for a little revenge here, make a statement. Celtics are laying 6.5, as always with the Clippers. Got to figure out who's in, who's out. It's the name of the game with LA. But you're getting 6.5 if you like the Clippers. Nick, take us away. Clips and Celtics.
Yeah, once again, every night that we have a show, the Clippers are playing, and you absolutely have to check who's playing all the way up until tip, because they are infamous for dropping the game time decision, resting, load management plays right up until the buzzer. But yeah, I know a lot of people like Kawhi points in this game. I don't know, man. I know on DraftKings, I don't know if FanDuel has it now, where you can bet the first quarter props and all that stuff. Paul George hits 2 threes. I don't know if you can even bet this, but Paul George hits 2 threes in the first quarter every single game, and then he won't make one until the fourth quarter. So that might be something weird that I look at tonight. You always have the Tatum and Jaylen Brown combo. I was watching the other night, and I think they took, I want to say, about 90 shots as a team, something like that. And Tatum and Brown combined for mid-50s or something like that. So the volume is just insane for those two, which it should be, but just crazy volume. I'm probably just going to stay away from this game. I honestly really don't like watching either of these teams. As good as they are, I don't know. I just don't like watching these two teams.
Any lean on the side, or you just need to know the injury?
I mean, I would probably lean Clippers if everybody's playing, but if one of the big guns is out, then it's tough in that spot. But if full strength, I'd probably take the points.
Matt, are you back?
I can hear you guys. Do you have me?
Oh, we hear you, man. We hear you.
Okay, cool. My desktop decided it was time for an update.
It's all good. It's like running a 2-minute drill.
iPad.
Somebody falls down, we go ahead. We know what we leave you behind, and we just run our next play. So
And we understood.
Just step over.
Yeah.
We understood and told everybody to go ahead and lock in on your official card 20 assists from Garland. SGP'd with 20 assists from Halliburton.
He froze right as you were giving us the assist
Laddered
total.
up.
So
Right.
we determined it was 20.
20, yeah. A combined assist, maybe. I don't hate it, but you sounded like you guys were on Clippers and Celtics, right?
Yeah, you can finish up on the Cavs and the Pacers, and you can just jump right into Clip Celtics if you want.
No, I was really just saying it because it was a Garland night last time. I think everybody's going to be like, oh, Garland, he seems like he's going to pick up his scoring. So, like, Mitchell's not that kind of guy that wants to defer that much that often. So I would think that Garland probably reverts back to a normal facilitator role, and Mitchell steps up. A lot of threes in this game, too. So if you're a fan of doing a same-game parlay with a lot of three-pointers, I think you can have a good look in there. But, yeah, for the Clippers and the Celtics, I guess you got to kind of wait and see. Ty Lue, he infuriates all of us. You got to wait to see this lineup. To me, this is a great preview of a potential NBA final matchup. So a lot of elite wing play in this match. I'm hoping we get a healthy and firing Kawhi and Paul George against a healthy and firing JB and JT. To me, that's
the best possible matchup I could see. I want to see all that out on the floor. I would be inclined to take the 6.5 here with the Clippers, but I understand Boston just being a machine. It's a tough one. I love this game, but it's a hard one to bet. So I almost want to just watch and learn and take notes and not try to fire anything pre-flop. Just see if I can pick out something, a live observation during the match, and maybe find a good live bet opportunity.
Go
ahead.
I was gonna say, as much as I hate to say this because this is like my least favorite NBA player of all time, 21.5 is too low of a line, I think, for Paul George's points. I've watched him a lot in his Pacers days, obviously, and he's a guy that does kind of step up regular season in these big games. I think this is a game that's on NBA TV. He's averaging 23 on the season, just had 26 a couple weeks ago against Boston. He's over this 21.5 and 7 in the last 10. I think this line should be 22 or 23.5. I guess they're assuming that their Clippers are going to be full strength, and that's why it's maybe a point or two lower than I would expect it to be. But I like 21.5 points for Paul George, and he'll probably let me down because that's all he's ever done in his career. But maybe a 25 plus.
Over here.
A lot of anger. This is not a therapy session. This is not. We're trying to talk betting. We're not trying to, talk you through this. We all have our
21.5 points. Paul George. That's my play.
All right. And like I said, I would lean towards the Clippers. The injury stuff keeps me off it. The fact that Clippers beat them badly last time, you figure Celtics have a score to settle, but lean towards the Clippers. No play. Anything else before we move on?
I got to ask Eli. So it's like, it's like the ninth degree, but like you traded away Paul George essentially to get Tyrese Halliburton. So that's what you ended up getting. You've got Tyrese. Yeah. There was a lot of Sabonis in there and a lot of other things.
Yeah, I'm overall extremely happy with how that all turned out. But
okay.
Yeah, so he kind of just set the franchise back a few years. But anyway.
Apparently almost went to the Cavs, Paul George, for Kyrie, and that's what annoyed Kyrie, and it annoyed LeBron that the Cavs wouldn't do the deal because LeBron, I forget that story. I could probably look it up, but there was some Paul George to the Cavs. This is right before LeBron left. And remember, they had like that Nets pick they were dangling, and they wouldn't give that. And Kyrie, I think, up for Paul George, but it was almost LeBron and Paul George in Cleveland. Who knows how things would have played out, but can probably move on here. Another fun game. Memphis is in Toronto. Memphis is laying 4, as this is the bank is open. Props.cash, Pickett Sports, both essential tools for all of your betting. And of course, Gold Boys Bet. So Grizzlies laying 4 in Toronto. Nick, what do you got here?
I do have a play in this game. Fred VanVleet is out this game, so that factors in probably to how people are going to approach this. But I took Siakam's assist ladder. Starts at 6.5, minus 118. Sometimes when VanVleet's out, he's the facilitator. It's just kind of risky because he also might put up 40 points with VanVleet out. So it just kind of depends how the Grizzlies play him. I'm assuming Jaren Jackson will be on him. But all the way up to 12. 12 is plus 1,100. I looked at his double-double, but the odds just weren't worth it. It was like minus 110 or something like that. So I don't know. Like we've talked about the Raptors a lot on this show. They're just everyone was on the Raptors, including myself, coming into this year, and they just haven't. I think it was Tuesday, so I'm interested to hear what Matt has to say about the Raptors. I know, Will, you brought up they wouldn't trade the Barnes for Durant piece, which I'm sure they would right now. It's just a weird team. I mean, they have talent. They have, OG Anunoby, great piece there. VanVleet, Siakam, Barnes.
And they're in a good East where they're not beating anybody in the first round. Like, look at the 4 teams: Nets, Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers in some order. Like, maybe you can upset one of those teams, but that's why you look back and I know they're young, they're fun, but everyone just assumed, oh, no way, you can't trade Scotty Barnes for Durant. It's like, might have missed an opportunity to go from good to a really good team. So, yeah, it might have been a missed opportunity. Matt, anything to add here? Raps and Grizz?
I don't trust the Grizzlies on the road.
Yeah.
Especially not -4, -4.5. I think I would take the Raptors and the points at home. Until Desmond Bane is back and firing, I need to see a 25, 30-point night where he knocks down 6 or 7 threes.
He is not back yet. I know that's for sure.
Yeah, that is not. Yeah, he is not back yet. Jaren Jackson cannot stay out of foul trouble. And if he's going to be on Siakam is really good at drawing contact, getting to the line. I think Jaren Jackson's going to be in foul trouble all night. And Scotty Barnes and OG, like those are big, long, fast guys that can. Ja is still going to get his. He'll probably get his 25 points or whatever. But like they're going to hit him. They're going to foul him. They're going to throw as many athletic, tough wing defenders at him as they possibly
Toronto's
can.
A physical team,
and
like
they're smart. They like Nurse is okay with saying like Ja Morant, guess what? You're passing tonight. Like no matter what, we'll trap you. We'll take you out of the game. They did it with like DeMar DeRozan, who is not Ja Morant athletically, and similar in profile where like they want to get to the mid range and to the rim, not elite perimeter shooters. So if they go out there and they meet Ja and trap him and get the ball out of his hands, then you're going to have a big effort out of Desmond Bane, or maybe you get Tyus Jones in the game and get Ja off the ball a little bit, run him off. I don't know. I'm fascinated. I love the way Nick Nurse game plans for a star player. So that's kind of a fun thing. And but yeah, no player props that I'm exactly targeting other than I think Siakam can probably go over his point total.
Yeah.
And I would take the Raptors at home with the points.
Yeah, and I will be on Siakam points. I believe. So me and Nick were looking at this before the show. With Fred out, he sees like an assist and a half or so bump per 100 possessions, and he sees like a 3.5, 4 points bump per 100 possessions with Van Vliet off. I think that line is still at 25 and a half for close to even money, and I think that's a little low. He's coming in hitting that 5 straight, averaging almost 30 in his last 10. So, I could definitely see Siakam getting 30, 35. He has a 50-point game last week against the Knicks, so
yeah,
I could definitely see that being another a night like that for him. But that's the only thing I'm looking at here.
If he gets Jaren Jackson in foul trouble, say he gets 2 quick ones, like first, then you got to move Dylan Brooks. You probably got to move Dylan Brooks onto him, and like at that point, like he's just got a huge size advantage. So, I mean, you can't play Aquaman on him; he's too slow. So, yeah, it'll be fun. It's definitely an interesting matchup that I think it's my favorite game on the slate.
Anything else before we move on?
I got nothing.
We got one more game left, and I want to just talk about some of these crazy performances that have happened the past few games. Oh, we got a couple games left, actually. What do we have? We have Knicks Spurs, and then we have Rockets and Mavs. So
Knicks Spurs.
The Texas team. All right, Nick, take us away. Knicks Spurs. We got the Knicks laying 5 in San Antonio.
Yeah, I got to go back to the well here. This guy's been a moneymaker for me. Even his line just keeps going higher and higher. But Julius Randle, rebound ladder. Yeah, he cashed the full thing from Tuesday's show. They moved the line up to 10.5, minus 108. But, I mean, last game he had 10 rebounds in the first half. So Spurs allow the most rebounds to power forwards, most points, I believe, to power forwards. He's hit 12-plus rebounds in 7 of his last 8. He's just been on a tear lately. So if you want to go, I don't know what his points rebounds line is, but I'm sure he's going to be chucking early and often like he has been. RJ Barrett's going to be out. I know Brunson's a game-time decision. I don't know what his deal is for tonight, but another one maybe to look at is Grimes. If Brunson doesn't play, Grimes has been shooting a ton of threes, high volume lately. But I like Randall just about everything tonight.
Yeah, his points rebound is 40.5, and he's coming in 4 straight hitting that. I wanted to take Randall's under on points today.
It's pretty high, isn't it? It's like close to 30.
30.5, which with RJ Barrett in would be way too high, and it wouldn't be that high. But I got to stay away from this game. I really want to take Randall's under on points. His rebounds, I think, is still a good play for sure. But I think there's even without RJ Barrett, I think there's still a blowout concern here. You guys think? I don't know. I mean, the Knicks have been playing pretty well. The Spurs are pretty.
No
awful.
lead is safe with the Knicks. I think we found that out.
That's true.
As long as the Knicks aren't up 9 with 20 seconds left, they'll be okay. My goodness.
Gosh.
My goodness.
Who you
Yeah.
got, Matt?
So I think with Vassal's out, right? So Keldon Johnson, 21.5 points looks pretty low for me. Like, I think he could, if they're in this game, he's going to need to hit 27, 28, points. Like, he's going to need to hit some threes. To me,
The Knicks will give him up, too.
it's screaming, take that. Yeah, exactly. So I'm inclined to look there. He's just a player that I don't have any luck getting on the right side of. So it's probably just going to be a pass for me altogether on the game. If you're asking me to do one team or the other on this side, I think I would be – if Brunson's in, I'm comfortable with the Knicks -5. If he's out, I'll take the Spurs +5. So just wait for that news, I guess. Are they making him a game time decision, or what are they deciding here? Like, we're getting to that stage where the news gets later and later and later.
Yep.
So, firing these stuff up, you're playing a little bit of
the guessing game.
A little bit of a guessing game. Maybe it works out for you, and you can set up a nice middle if you guess the right side of things. So, nothing for me.
Brunson's still questionable. No update yet.
Questionable. Right. Okay, we'll probably find out soon. That's what, 8:05 tip, 9:05 tip. So we'll probably find out pretty soon here. Anything else before we move on? Houston in Dallas. Dallas laying 10. Luka off one of the incredible performances, and we can just go right into where you guys are at with the MVP. We've seen some incredible performances from Luka, from Jokic, Zion last night. So we've had some shift here in the MVP odds. But before that, just quickly here, Rockets and Mavs. Nick, you want to start us off with the Mavs laying 10?
Yeah, the one play that might be one of my favorite plays of the night is Jabari Smith's rebounds. The Mavs just gave up a ton of rebounds against the Knicks. They just don't rebound well with the centers or power forwards down there. And Jabari Smith has been rebounding very well lately. His to get 8 rebounds was plus money. I don't know if it still is, but it was plus 105 on FanDuel. So that's probably one of my favorites of the night. I'm probably going to stay away sidewise. This has the blowout potential on it. But like you're saying, some of the stats lately, I was watching that. I had the Randall rebounds in that game, so I was watching the end of that game, and I almost shut it off, and I was like, I'll just keep it on a little bit longer. And I was like, what in the world is going on here? Somebody said, it might have been Bill Simmons' podcast. I was driving back from Wisconsin listening to it, and he said the end of that game with Luka was like a guy having 5 touchdowns in a game, kicking the onside kick, and then recovering it and running it in for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. And the Knicks did everything right. You foul up 3, you get the miss. It's so hard to do what they did. Just hit that parlay of make the first free throw, get the rebound, put the put back, and they did it. And he did it all himself.
The Browns lost against the
yes.
The Browns lost against the Jets this year. Yes. That's what it was. Like, it was hitting the lottery of dumb shit happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And then a day later, we had Kansas, Arkansas in college football, where Kansas is down 15 with 2 minutes and change left. Arkansas has the ball on the Kansas 30. Kansas has no timeouts, down 15, and they end up getting to double overtime. So I don't even think there was a money line on that. We've seen some craziness.
Even the Bucks last night, they were up 9 against the Bulls with a couple minutes left, went to overtime and lost. But
crazy.
Some of these numbers, like Giannis last night had 45 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the numbers that are being put up are just absurd. But
I think with the Mavs, like you mentioned, Jabari Smith, with Finney Smith out, that he's that locked out, like that 4 that is athletic enough to kind of seal out the guy. A physical guy. And, he missing him for another couple of weeks or whatever it's going to be is going to hurt the Mavs here. It hurts their shooting. It hurts their defense. It hurts a lot of things. So, to me, 10 points, like, how much do you trust the Mavs here after – they're going to be feeling good after that big comeback. Is there a natural come down here? I'm inclined to take 10 points here and back the Rockets. I know that might be, I don't know, famous last words or something, but I do think that they can hang around, and the Mavs play slow. Uh, I just don't know how much, they may start this game a little slow too. After digging deep, maybe, they could jump out. They're the younger team, that's for sure. So it's just a matter of not taking a bunch of bad shots early in the shot clock. And I think they will hang around, like, just because of the Mavs pace is so slow.
We kind of bashed like at the beginning, like we threw out Luca for MVP, and we are like, they're not going to win enough. But
Right.
the dude just drags this team to wins, like single handedly drags them to wins.
Incredible.
What place are they? How many wins do they have without Luca right now?
Oh, they're
without
a bottom 5 team.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
You could almost say that about any team when you take the best player off. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, the Bucks still have a couple good players.
Yeah, but you take Giannis off the Bucks, they're
maybe an 8 seed. Remember, they got to the finals without him a couple years ago. They won a couple games. Like, they're not as bad.
But they got Middleton and Holiday at least.
Jokic is an example.
Chad wants us to talk about the Nets. So you take Durant off the Nets. How many wins they have?
Boy, that's tricky because if they take Durant off, that would mean they trade Kyrie. But let's just pretend they keep the rest of the team. It depends who you're replacing with. He's got a good point. Not a lot. Very, very few. One of the 5 worst teams in the league. So that's a good point.
Nets have looked good, Code. They just don't play tonight, man. But
they've looked very good.
This game that to me, I don't know how you can bet props on a game with how games have been going this season, how many blowouts we've been seeing. I don't know how you can feel confident about betting a prop with a spread that's 10 points. I think I would lean towards the Rockets and potentially Rockets props just because of the whole letdown thing. Luka's line for points, rebounds, and assists. I just had it. It's like
85.
Yeah, 4,000 or something. So I like everything Luka, even though he should go crazy against these guys, is going to be too juiced coming off of that big performance he had, and Rockets struggle.
Plus, you worry about a fatigue factor a little bit. You would think.
You worry about fatigue. You worry about blowout. You worry about all of it. So I don't know how you can feel good about really betting anything on this game except like Matt saying maybe Rockets plus 10, but.
And if you're the Mavs, you got to keep manage his minutes a little bit. You don't want to just completely run this guy into the ground. So to me,
have you ever seen anyone play at his speed though and be in that control?
Crazy.
He doesn't play fast. He does basically. He does whatever he wants and gets to wherever he wants, and he's not in a hurry either.
All these teams that passed on him too. The Kings for Marvin Bagley. You just go down the line, man. It's something you never really recover from as a franchise. Look at all the talent the Kings have, and you just put Luke on there instead.
I read a really interesting. Sorry, Will, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I read a really interesting article with the Trae Young Luka dynamic and how just the cities themselves like played a role in this. Where would Luka have been such a success in the city of Atlanta, which naturally is they've embraced Trae Young, and just like they're talking about potentially the racial elements of him being white in Dallas and Trae being black in a more of a predominantly black city of Atlanta, and why that played in the marketing side off the court. It was like a whole big thing that I thought was pretty fascinating. I think it's worked out well for both teams, although Luka is the better player right now. I'm just not sure how many teams could have would have just said, "Hey, take this," and run with it, Luka. Cuban's got enough gravitas where he's able to be like, all right, we're gonna go all in. We're gonna take Mark Cuban's got Rick Carlisle there, who's won a championship and done this, is like a well-respected coach. He's like, all right, you're gonna be out of here. Like we're gonna move on. And I just don't know how many. The fit matters. You know what I mean? In a lot of these towns and these cities and these organizations. And you mentioned like Luka for MVP. They're 19 and 16. 7th seed right now. It's just so tight in the West. Everything can change. These teams, you go on a run for a week, you can bump up 3 or 4 spots or down 3 or 4 spots. So, wow, how is this thing going to shake out towards the end? You know what I mean? It's wild to see how tight these standings are, and a lot of these guys, like Booker being out a month now, what's that going to do to the Suns? And we're already seeing, Steph out a month for the Warriors, how this is going to work out. AD out a month for the Lakers, like all this. it's impossible to handicap right now. So to me, I would still want a Giannis ticket just because I could trust that Giannis is going to stay healthy. Like to me, like if there's anybody that I know that will stay healthy, Tatum and Giannis to me feel like the surest bets to stay healthy. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Or Jokic, I guess too.
Real quick, because I know we're about to move on to NFL, there's a couple of chat questions. I think Minnesota won that bowl game, right? The Pinstripe Bowl.
They did.
Minnesota beat Syracuse.
28-20.
Brianna asking about Jalen Williams double-double. Nick, I'm assuming you like that because you like his 10 rebounds.
Yeah, it was, I think, 2,200 on DraftKings.
Really? Yeah. And then
doubles the 10 rebound play.
Yeah. And then Emmanuel
like
quickly threes also asked about. We touched on quickly a little bit, especially if Brunson is out. I think you would.
Yeah, him and Grimes would see a big uptick in volume. You're just kind of playing if you think Brunson's going to be out, I guess, because if Brunson's going to play, it's not as good of a play, obviously. But
all right, that's it.
All right, football. You guys ready to move on?
Football.
I guess my last note in that before we jump to football. Christian Wood against his old team. What do we think? Do you think he has a big game? 20-10 kind of a night, or
a good angle?
He's a very frustrating guy to bet on. That's for sure.
Man, very frustrating.
All right.
Well, I was looking at his rebounds, and I was like, surely he can get 10 rebounds.
That's what I'm asking.
He never does. This would be the day to do it, I guess.
Right.
All right, props.cash and Pickett Sports. The bank is open. We'll move on to do a little NFL. So this line, look, it was 9.5, made it a good 7-point teaser leg, 10, 11, 12, all the way 12.5. It actually hit 14. I'm seeing 13.5 now. So you finally saw a little buyback at 14. Nobody's playing for the Titans, not Willis, which, look, that can't be any worse to have Dobbs play. I wonder what they'll do next week. This game means nothing for the Titans. Dallas, a huge favorite, still have a chance to win the division, although it's an outside one. I don't have a lot here. I'm curious what you guys think about the props. I do like the Titans team total under 13.5 points. It's always dicey getting burned on a backdoor. But Nick, start us off here. Titans, Cowboys, anything in pocket?
The closest I'll get to probably betting aside on this is driving past the stadium today on the way home. But yeah, it's tough with this many guys sitting. What you're gonna, like you said earlier, is an exhibition game feel to it. But I have one look when we get to the touchdown score stuff, but I'm probably going to stay away from props and stuff. I mean, Dallas needs this game. I mean, they still, like you said, have that outside shot. So maybe you do something with Zeke here, but I'm probably just going to stay away from this.
If this game was at 1 o'clock on Sunday, would
Good point.
Be betting it or
Great point.
Even be watching it?
Best point of the night.
Only if you have fantasy implications, maybe, but
that's a great point. We don't say it enough. That's a fantastic point. You put this game Sunday at 1 o'clock, I'd have no interest just because it's the only game on. We all want to find an angle and props and first touchdown score, which, hey, if you're betting $5-10, if you're betting, small amounts just for a little entertainment, we're not here to tell you, how to spend your money or what to do, but it's a great point. Don't just go putting a big bet just to put a big bet. And I think it's a fantastic point. Where are you at with this one, Matkafee?
So like most people, I think Dallas first half is a good way to attack this. I think they'll play the first half and then they'll pull everybody out. We'll get, Cooper Rush, Washington, and Noah Brown and T.Y. Hilton will play the second half. That's why I think if you can find lines on those guys, play their overs. Obviously, you won't find a Cooper Rush line, but I'm inclined to take Dak under passing yards. Yeah. I think as bad as Tennessee is, he's going to have to pass for 230 in the first half because if they're up 24-0 or something like that, or 3, and it doesn't even matter for the Cowboys too. That's the problem. Is like, why? Okay, play a half, keep everybody feeling good, and then get everybody out. Like and
Pollard inactive, by the way, for the Cowboys.
Okay, so there you go. Pollard inactive. How many hits do you want Zeke to take? So one hit to the knee and you lose Zeke. You know what I mean, for a couple weeks. So same thing with any of these guys. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, any of these guys. So I would be inclined to, take Dallas first half. I think that's a good angle. I would take under on all these guys' props if you're going to, because I don't think there's enough depression. CeeDee Lamb's still at 70 yards. He was at like 67 or something against the Eagles. I think most of these guys, the backup tight ends for Dallas, Hendershot and what's the other guy's name?
That's my sleeper pick coming up right there, Ferguson.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, Ferguson. There you go. Ferguson and Hendershot. I like they could potentially have some looks here because I really do think we see Cooper Rush in the second half. So I I am tempted to go ahead and take Dak's unders. I do think it's funny that his 200 yards is on a boost tonight, and they're them to win. And so here's the angle. Dak gets 175 in the first half. They're up by a bunch, and they just say, come on, Dak, get the hell out of here. That's what I think. I think that's the way to play it. I don't think you could touch anything on the Tennessee side other than maybe some of the wide receiver stuff because game script wise, they're going to put the kid in Dobbs. Yeah, and they're going to be behind. So you would think they're not going to have Diggs out there trying to do a bunch of stuff and Parsons chasing him down, unless they're just trying to chase postseason award, like some awards or anything like that. But
hey, since you brought up Ferguson, they do have a line on him on DraftKings actually.
What's his line?
7.5.
7.5.
7.5 receiving.
Wow. I like it. See, I think that's the game script. And who's behind?
He plays even tonight. Sometimes. He plays sometimes even
right.
out.
And who's behind Zeke tonight on the depth chart?
I think it's Malik Davis.
Now that Pollard's out.
I think it's Malik Davis.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So
I've heard whispers that.
Here.
Yeah, I've heard whispers that Chestnut, the backup running back for the Titans, could get some looks here. With Henry.
Are these real people we're talking about?
These are a couple
real
of them
NFL?
are.
Okay.
Jake Ferguson,
right.
Wisconsin guy.
And Chestnut's from Connecticut. He went to Sacred Heart, which is, of course, it's up there with Alabama. Georgia powerhouse. Absolutely. So,
Power
is there
5.
any value? Last touchdown
Saban
score.
won't schedule him.
Right. Would you find anyone last touchdown? Some of these backups, you figure it's a blowout. Somebody scores, late in the fourth quarter.
I got Ferguson first touchtown plus 4,300. Okay. That's my play.
And we're looking for two in a row because we hit Lawrence last week.
I think targeting like Burks, Okonkwo, I think the Texans will try to build some chemistry with the quarterback in the second half. And when Dallas is called off the dogs and they're playing some vanilla defense, I think that there's some value there on that side of it. But TD wise, those guys are decent looks for last. I need to pull up DK real quick to get some of the lines up and see if I can find a deep shot for you.
And while I was looking at that, how many people have a winning record betting overs on props on Thursday Night Football this season, you think?
That's true.
Not very many. Because every
what
time.
If Dak go?
Wow, Malik Davis is plus 950 now, first touchdown, and Haskins for the other Titans running back is 10-1. So, and then Chestnut's up to 16-1. Boy, some interesting prices here.
Matt, you brought up Okonkwo, right?
Yes, I think he's a good look.
Look at his yards besides last week: 54, 45, 68, 35, 31, 41, 48, and you can get him for either 19.5.
Right.
I'll take T.Y. Hilton.
We got Racy. Yeah, Racy McMath. He's 100-1 for the last touchdown.
Is that an adult film star? That's not a football player.
What are we talking about?
Right. And then Peyton Hendershot 60-1. Jake Ferguson 40-1.
Dallas defense 28-1.
Yeah, I think for an anytime touchdown, potentially. But then again, it's how much are they putting? How many snaps is Parsons and Diggs and company really going to play? I would assume they play the first half. That's what I think. But McCarthy,
he's run it up before. Remember last year versus Philly on Saturday night, he ran up the score. He's had a habit of running it up a little bit for whatever reason.
And real quick, I know we all think this game is going to be a blowout, and I do too. But would any of us be shocked if we get to the third quarter and it's 14-3, 14-7, and the Cowboys are still within reach, or it's still a close enough game that Cowboys have to keep everybody out there. You know what I mean? So
Be very surprised. I wouldn't be shocked. It's the NFL. You can never be shocked. I would be very surprised,
Right.
but not like drop. Look,
But if
turnovers,
they-
an equalizer. Dobbs could play well. Who knows?
If the Cowboys lose and they lose also to Washington,
they're not going to lose.
they're still the 5th seed, right?
Right.
Can they get
Right.
caught, or are they the 5th seed no matter what?
I haven't looked because I haven't really considered it. I believe they're in though, because the Giants, they're ahead of the Giants, and the Giants are a sliver away from clinching, so they have to have clinched by now.
I meant 14-3 Dallas winning, by the way. So the Titans keeping it just okay.
3. Yeah.
So you're telling me I should put Titans Rockets money line parlay, right?
Ooh.
No.
Plus 3,000.
No.
Man,
Titans have high
it's
school
hard
football
to see.
players playing for them tonight.
Well, I thought
These
my
guys
chestnut
wouldn't-
was a little sleeper here, but he's down to 16-1 at FanDuel. Of course, shop around. Haskins 10-1. These are guys. If you looked around, these guys were in the 30 to 40-1. I don't know. I guess I'd probably suggest Dallas defense. I guess at that numbers, and maybe you look at last touchdown scorer, Malik Davis, something like that. But there's definitely some sleeper potential with all this uncertainty. Uncertainty is good for the bettors because they can't make a proper line on all this stuff, and there's so many moving parts that I don't know. Tonight might be a night, like we said, we don't have to bet it, but if you want to throw $10 on someone random, you know what, go for it.
Matt, you talked me into that Ferguson yards play. Now I'm playing it 7.5.
I'm taking TY.
One catch.
That's
right?
one catch, yeah.
Before we go, who do you think plays quarterback
TY,
next week
what's
for the
TY?
Titans?
Yeah.
11.5. What'd you say, Matt?
Man,
Titans quarterback next week is who?
Who cares?
Is he on the
Mariota.
roster right now?
I care because
Yeah,
I have,
bring back
no. I mean,
Mariota.
next. Did I say next year? I meant next week.
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
Yeah, I have Jags
Uh,
division.
I heard
Jags are going to win the division.
Tannehill might be back, right? Because he went and had some secret surgery on his ankle.
right.
And he,
Next week.
Jags are going to win the division.
I heard something that Tannehill snuck away and had a secret surgery. I don't know if that actually is true or not. I'm assuming it's not, but yeah, who knows, man? I would play Derrick Henry at
Wildcat?
quarterback
Yeah.
and just run the fucking Wildcat the whole game. You know what I mean? Like, just get an extra offensive lineman out there and just pound the ball. And how many Henry's had a couple touchdown passes. He can have a Walter Payton-esque, like, where he throws it maybe 12 times the game, and the rest it's all running the ball. Why not? You know what I mean?
What odds would you give me? Malik Willis never starts another NFL game at quarterback.
Plus, never in his career?
Ever.
Do you think he's out of he's going to be a backup somewhere, right?
Yeah.
He'll start another
Yeah,
game.
I would say, yeah, minus I'd probably 500, 600, something like that.
So I'm
He'll
saying
start a
never.
game
Yeah.
in his career.
I would want Will to give me. I would need 6 to 1. I would
Okay.
want to have $6 to put up $1.
He's never going to be named
Basically.
the week 1 starter coming into.
I just say I think there's a realistic chance. Look, he could play next week. I don't know what their plans are. I think it's possible. If he doesn't start next
Damn.
week, I think it's possible. He never starts a game. Of course, with injuries, anybody could start. Look at the guys starting this week. I hear this that he's not ready. He's raw. I just don't think he's any good. I don't think he can play the position. I didn't like him at Liberty, so it's interesting.
Did you guys see
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I think somebody will say, "Hey, I can fix him." You know what I mean? Like, he's got the athleticism.
Jim Irsay will
Hell,
say
the
that.
Ravens bring him in. Lamar gets hurt every year for at least 2 or 3 games, so he could join the club of backups in Baltimore that eventually get to start.
Yeah.
Dak is boosted on both books for 200 yards, so he is definitely not playing the second half. I'll just say that much. Like, I'm gonna take Dak under 230 tonight. I'm gonna make that official.
Yep.
I'm pretty comfortable with that, but. Yeah, who knows?
Covered it. Anything else?
Yeah.
Colts got a new quarterback, Derek Carr. It's not official yet, but everybody in the world knows it's going to happen.
Yeah, he's either going to the Colts or the Jets. The Colts can't help themselves with the rent a quarterback year in, year out.
Yeah. What do you think, Derek Carr to Indy? Is that on? Do you think that or are they going to do something?
They'll move on.
do
I don't know if
something
they'll get
else,
anything for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody will take them.
Yeah. What do the Raiders do here? Where do you
question.
think they're good looking?
It's a great question. Garoppolo is sort of the
You
same.
go all
thing.
in and-
I don't know.
Yeah,
Matt
Garoppolo
Ryan.
makes sense, I guess.
That's such a
Garoppolo
lateral
in
move,
Vegas,
though.
good for him.
It's a
you know?
lateral move. Yeah, exactly. That's a lateral move, though. You go from Carr to Garoppolo. I don't know about that.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, obviously, good quarterback class coming in, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah. Are you
All
on
right,
it, Nick?
boys.
Did you just do it? Fergie. I love it. I saw your notification come through.
Had to take it.
All right, I
I
think
dig
we
it, man.
covered it. I think we covered it.
Yep.
Eli, Nick, Matt, this was fun. This was a nice little 4-man crew. We touched a lot. Anything else to add before we get out of here?
Go Pacers.
Go
Go
Titans.
Pacers. Go Titans. Go everybody. Hope you guys win all your bets. The bank is
Yep.
open. Props.cash, Pickett Sports, Gold Boy Bets. We will be back Sunday, first and gold. We'll see you guys then. Thank you for listening.